Reporting attendance. Have all senators indicated their attendance? Will the clerk please lock the machine? There are 36 members in attendance. There is a quorum. At this time, I would recognize Senator James E. Doyle, representing the city of Pawtucket, for leading us on the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Will all members please rise?
Almighty God, we ask you today that you help us to live wisely, to fight for justice and truth, and to always try to live up to the expectations of our constituents. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first order of business is the reading of the previous day's journal. Will the clerk please read?
State of Rhode
Madam
Island.
President,
Senator Doyle.
I move that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and the journal be accepted as printed.
There being no objection, so ordered. The next order of business is the announcement. Any announcements or guests? Are there any guests present for introduction today at this time? There being none, the next order of business would be committee reports and communications. From the Committee on Environment and Agriculture, the reappointment of Janet L. Coit, calendar. From the Committee on Housing and Municipal Government, Senate Bill number 6, Sub A, by Senator O'Neill, calendar. Are there any further committee reports and/or communications? There being none, the next order of business is new business. Senate resolution for which Senator Jabbour requests immediate consideration, congratulating the New England Patriots on their exemplary 2014-15 NFL season thus far and wishing them continued success in Super Bowl of 49. And will the clerk please read?
Senate resolution congratulating the New England Patriots on their exemplary 2014-2015 NFL season thus far and wishing them continued success in Super Bowl 49. Whereas the New England Patriots, a dominating fixture on the NFL scene since 2001, have once again provided their loyal fans with a thrilling and quite successful season. The Patriots easily won the AFC East Division with a sterling 12-4 record. They were led by an explosive offense, a stingy defense, and a solid kicking game. The Patriots will be playing in the Super Bowl for the 8th time in the franchise's illustrious history. And whereas Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history, once again had an outstanding regular season. He threw for more than 4,000 yards with a superb 64.1 completion percentage. He also threw 33 touchdown passes with only 9 interceptions. And whereas the Patriots are once again led on the field of battle by their head coach, Bill Belichick, who has thus far compiled an NFL coaching record that easily rivals the greatest coaches in NFL history. In his 15 seasons as the Patriots head coach, Belichick has led his team to 6 Super Bowls, winning 3 of them thus far. He has taken the Patriots to the playoffs 12 times in a 15-year period and has compiled a phenomenal regular season record with the Patriots of 175 wins and 65 losses. And whereas the Patriots began their latest Super Bowl run by prevailing in their opening playoff game over a determined Baltimore Ravens squad by the score of 35-31, in a thrilling game that many experts have deemed to be one of the greatest playoff games of all time. In winning the game, the Patriots became the first team in NFL playoff history to come back twice in one game from 14-point deficits to win the game. The Patriots' comebacks were led by the always cool, calm, and collected Tom Brady, who completed 33 of 50 passes for 367 yards and threw his 46th career playoff touchdown pass, breaking Joe Montana's record of 45 for the most in NFL history. And whereas in the AFC Championship game played in Foxborough, the New England Patriots put on a professional football clinic as they thrashed the Indianapolis Colts by the score of 45-7 to earn a berth in the Super Bowl. Brady once again played a superb playoff game, throwing 3 touchdown passes and completing 23 of 35 passes for 226 yards. The Patriots were also aided by a tough running game, with most of the yardage being provided by running back LeGarrette Blount, who rushed for 148 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, and set a Patriots franchise record with 30 rushing carries. Finally, New England's ferocious defense completely stifled the Colts offense and shut down their highly regarded quarterback, Andrew Luck. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby congratulates the New England Patriots on their championship NFL season thus far, and we wish them continued success and victory in the upcoming Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and he is hereby authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft and New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick.
Senator Jabour.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the Senate. I would like to begin by saying we all know that on February 1, the Patriots will be in Glendale to deny the Seahawks from being the first team to be back-to-back champions since the Patriots did it in 2003 and 2004. I had the pleasure of being at the game on Sunday. I did not see any deflating of the balls during the game. I was down in row 6 in section 141. I trust that there was no one involved in deflating the balls. But I was told that earlier today there were a couple of buses at Gillette Stadium, and the Patriots were to make a surprise visit here to the chamber. But Senator Conley was found under a bus deflating the tires, so the Patriots never got here. So in spirit, we're with them, and go New England on February 1. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Jabour moves passage, seconded by Senator Archambault, Senator Satchel, Senator Conley, Senator Lombardi, Senator O'Neill, Leader Algier, Leader Ruggiero, Senator Goodwin, Senator Gallo, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Crowley, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Felag, Senator Walaska, Senator Pichardo, Senator Nesselbush, Senator Fogarty, Senator Metz, Senator Picard, and Senator Pearson. And in an abundance of caution, we better do a roll call vote. Will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall a resolution pass congratulating the New England Patriots and wishing them success in the Super Bowl? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 37 in the affirmative. The resolution passes unanimously. Are there any further orders of business, Senator Jabour?
Madam President, without objection, when appropriate, could we please return to introductions?
Certainly, if you'd like to return at this time.
Thank you, Madam President. As we know today, Madam President, we will be taking up the reappointment of our colonel to another term, and today, in concert with law enforcement and certainly someone who has been very vigilant and someone that the state can be proud of, and our Washington delegation having appointed him. We have our U.S. Attorney here today as a guest. I'd like a warm welcome to recognize Peter Nerona, who's here today in the chamber. Welcome, U.S. Attorney.
Senator Lombardi.
Thank you, Madam President. Just for the record, could we correct the record? Madam President, you would recognize Senator Lombardi as rising in favor of Senator Jabour's resolution. In fact, it was Senator Lombardo from Johnston. I, as a Giant fan, while reluctantly supporting the resolution, did not second the resolution, for the record.
I must admit, I think it was a subconscious error, since we are well aware of your favoritism towards the Giants. The record may stand corrected. Are there any further introductions at this time? There being none, the next order of business is approval of today's consent calendar. Leader Ruggiero moves that we adopt the consent calendar, seconded by Leader Algier. If there is no discussion, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall the consent calendar be adopted? Have all senators indicated their vote? Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 37 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and the consent calendar is adopted. The next order of business today is the regular calendar. Item number 1, the appointment of the Honorable Charles J. Fogarty as the Director of the Division of Elderly Affairs. Chairman Miller.
Yes, Madam President. Today I rise to move the advice and consent of Charles J. Fogarty to serve as the Director of the Department of Elderly Affairs. Charlie has a tremendous amount of experience in Rhode Island state government, which will be an asset to the Department of Elderly Affairs. He served 4 terms in this very chamber, was Lieutenant Governor for 2 terms, and served as the Director of the Department of Labor and Training for the past 4 years. As Lieutenant Governor, Charles transformed the office into an active, policy-driven operation that delivered results in areas ranging from healthcare to small business to emergency management. As a senator, he authored numerous pieces of landmark legislation, including the Healthcare Quality Reporting Act, the Rhode Island College Savings Program, and Government Accountability and Reform Act. In addition to his leadership on the state level, Charles has held leadership positions with national governmental organizations, including serving as chairman of both the National Lieutenant Governors Association and the Democratic Lieutenant Governors Association. He was also a charter member of the National Legislative Commission on Prescription Drug Pricing and served on the board of directors of the State Legislative Leaders Foundation and the Senate President's Forum, and was a member of the Executive Committee of the Council of State Governments, both in the national and regional levels. I enthusiastically urge my colleagues to join me in granting advice and consent to the appointment of Charles J. Fogarty as the Director of the Department of Elderly Affairs.
Senator Miller moves that the Senate grant advice and consent to the appointment of Charles Fogarty, seconded by Leader Algier, Leader Ruggiero, Senator DuPont, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch, Senator Doyle, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Crowley, Senator Jabbour, Senator Pearson, Senator Picard, Senator Lombardi, Senator Coyne, Senator Archibald, Senator DePalma, Senator Satchel, Senator Golden, Senator Cody, Senator Sheehan, Senator Reptakis, Senator O'Neill, Senator G., Senator Morgan, Senator Adiano, Senator Lombardo, and Senator Conley. Chairman McCaffrey, Senator Felag, Senator Walaska, Senator Pichardo, Senator Nesselbush, and Senator Mess. Senator Fogarty for purposes of recusal.
Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Archambault.
Sorry, Madam President.
Is there any discussion? There being none, shall the Senate grant advice and consent to the appointment of the Honorable Charles J. Fogarty to Director of the Division of Elderly Affairs? Will the clerk please unlock the machine? Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 35 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and advice and consent is granted. Congratulations. Leader Ruggiero, introductions.
Thank you, Madam President. Is an introduction in order?
It is.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the Senate, to you and through you, and to the members of the Senate, I would like to introduce the family of Charles Fogarty. First, his sister-in-law, Nancy Fogarty, who's no stranger to this chamber and to any of us. Nancy. Another individual who's no stranger to us in this chamber is his nephew, Brendan. And certainly, last but not least, his other nephew, Daniel.
Thank you, Senator, and congratulations. The next item on our agenda is the reappointment of Colonel Stephen G. O'Donnell as the Director of the Department of Public Safety. Chairman McCaffrey.
Thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. I rise today in support of the appointment of Stephen O'Donnell as the Director of Public Safety. Colonel O'Donnell graduated from LaSalle Academy, then went on to the University of New Haven and graduated with a BA in Administrative Justice. Then he received his master's degree from Salve Regina University and attended numerous seminars, classes through various departments and agencies regarding law enforcement. If you look at the resume that he provided us, it was a multi-page resume that had at least 100 different classes that he's attended over the years. Prior to becoming a state trooper, he was an officer in the North Kingston Police Department, as well as a guard at the ACI. Colonel O'Donnell is no stranger to this body. He became a trooper in 1987 and worked his way up to the rank of lieutenant colonel, where he retired and went over to the U.S. Marshal's office for the District of Rhode Island. Then he was called back into service in the state police by then Governor Chafee as superintendent of the state police. He has been willing to work with the General Assembly both as lieutenant colonel and colonel of the state police. He's a person who you can go to talk to about issues, and he's willing to try and find a resolution to those issues. In addition to talking with Colonel O'Donnell one-on-one, it's evident that he's a person who cares deeply for the people of the state of Rhode Island and those individuals who are within his command. Thus, it is my pleasure to report that the Senate Judiciary Committee unanimously recommends the advice and consent of Colonel O'Donnell as a Director of Public Safety, and I would ask this body to do the same, Madam President.
Senator McCaffrey moves that the Senate grant advice and consent to the appointment of Colonel O'Donnell, seconded by Leader Algier, Leader Ruggiero, Senator Goodwin, Senator DuPont, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch, Senator Doyle, Senator Pichardo, Senator Woloska, Senator Felag, Senator Morgan, Senator Adiano, Senator Lombardo, Senator Connolly, Senator O'Neill, Senator Reptakis, Senator G, Senator Kettle, Senator Lombardi, Senator Coyne, Senator Archibald, Senator DePalma, Senator Satchel, Senator Golden, Senator Cody, Senator Sheehan, Senator Nesselbush, Senator Fogarty, Senator Metz, Senator Picard, Senator Pearson, Senator Jabor, Senator Crowley, and Senator Sosnowski. Is there any discussion? Senator DuPont.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Very briefly, I just rise to commend the governor for this appointment and also to share with the body. A few years ago, Senators McCaffrey and Metz and I were asked by the colonel to participate in the first Citizens Trooper Academy. And while today we obviously hear and read about the challenges that exist in the law enforcement, and certainly not an easy job, but some of the challenges that exist in our communities, but for us it was a great opportunity to not only get a first-hand view through some of the exercises that we participated in of what it takes and what is involved in law enforcement, but I think more importantly was the group of individuals, folks from the legislature, from community organizations, from the faith community, from other branches of government, and it was really an opportunity for us to have a very frank and candid discussion with each other. And I want to commend and thank the Colonel not only for that, but for his continuous outreach efforts that we continue to read about, continue to hear about, and also hope that the State Police continue under his leadership with that outreach effort. And also, if any of you do have the opportunity to participate in any future classes, I would certainly recommend that. It would be well worth your while. Truly a unique experience in so many ways, and just wanted to publicly rise and not only commend the Colonel and the Governor for this appointment, but also to thank him publicly for that initiative and for the continued efforts that they continue to make in outreach to our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? There being none at this time, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall the Senate grant advice and consent to the appointment of Colonel Stephen G. O'Donnell as the Director of the Department of Public Safety? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 37 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Advice and consent is granted. Chairman McCaffrey.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to welcome to the chamber the newly reappointed Director of the Department of Public Safety, Colonel Stephen O'Donnell. Welcome to the chamber, Colonel.
Congratulations, Colonel. That completes today's calendar. We will now revert to announcements and introductions. Senator Jabor.
Thank you, Madam President. Announcement, please.
Please proceed, Senator.
Madam President, at the rise, we have the reappointment of A.T. Wall for advice and consent in Judiciary in room 313. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any further announcements and/or introductions? Senator Nesselbush.
Yes, Madam President, an announcement.
Please proceed, Senator.
At the rise, there will be a joint meeting of the Senate Finance Committee and the Senate Health and Human Services Committee in the lounge.
Thank you. Are there any additional announcements at this time? There being none, is there any objection to transmitting adopted resolutions to the Honorable Secretary of State, all matters passed by the Senate to the Honorable House of Representatives, and all matters passed in concurrence to Her Excellency the Governor? Hearing none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. Madam Whip.
Thank you, Madam President. If there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, I move the Senate adjourn.
Senator Goodwin moves the Senate adjourn, seconded by Senator Kettle. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Senate stands adjourned.